Hello, beautiful awakened ones. It's Monica Bermudez coming back for another Love Wisdom channeling of the Sacred Heart. And in this Sacred Heart channeling, we're going to dive into the 5 things to know about this blood moon. It's a full moon, total lunar eclipse. Here it comes, everybody. Another eclipse for this year of 2022 in November, still in the beginnings of November, and feeling the effects of this eclipse. And I was still feeling the effects of the last eclipse that we had in October, which is the partial solar eclipse that occurred during a new moon. And that was a very powerful one that, is setting the stage for this bigger one that we're about to go into this quantum portal itself. So I want to explore those 5 things to know about this energy, that this theme of eclipses that we're in at this time. And eclipses energies have a powerful effect that lasts for months, like even up to 6 months or longer. So that means this is going to last into 2023, and it's going to have a rippling effect, because in every change that we make has some form of rippling effect in our lives, and it manifests and branches out in different ways. So some of the things to know before I dive in, how much this full moon to me feels like a big radical change. So it is a radical change for the personal life, but also in the collective. So I feel like something is definitely boiling. It's very revolutionary, it's very big, and it's just very transformative. And I want to share my personal story actually with the eclipses. So the last big total lunar eclipse, as I recall, I believe there was one towards the end of 2019, and it was during the full moon. And that felt like, to me, it felt like it went through my body and it just realigned my entire soul. But it felt like everything in my soul was just coming up. Like it felt like it was broken up in half, of like the shadow and the light. And so I was feeling like all things come up, the shadow was coming up a lot, because my soul was going through this radical transformation of like realignment. And it was all realigning itself to my spiritual soul purpose business that I have right now. And so what happened next was that the effects of that, after I got through this very painful, because it was very painfully, like it felt very emotional, and it's like an emotional pain. That's the way it felt like to me. And so, I haven't felt it like that for years. But it needed to happen, because what happened next, that in that following year of 2020 is when I officially launched my spiritual business. And I was, in my creative flow, in my alignment with my soul purpose. And it's been building up since then. So I learned from that eclipse that I needed to prepare myself for them, to anything that would come up, any transformational change. And so I feel like this big one that we're about to go into this full peak of energy on November 8th, and depending on your time zone, is going to be so major, a big change. So it's so important to really just prepare for it. And I feel like in me personally, that is going to shift me into my next level of my soul purpose business, as things have been expanding and growing in their own way, and I feel that it is going to shift it in a much deeper way into my own creative flow. And so I feel this for everybody. Okay, this is a collective energy that we're all going through. And so some of you may be feeling that there's something really big that's coming in your life, something that maybe you're already like planning or setting intentions on, and that you're feeling that big major shift. And so that's why for the next stage of this full moon, the 1111 portal gateway, which is like a bunch of ones, right? And the number one significant, it's for one, it's it's the master number, being a mastery of yourself and keeping yourself balanced. And it's also about the number one is about creation, it's about manifestation. So I feel that gateway is very powerful to also set those intentions and those powerful manifestations, especially after having this full moon eclipse energy, which is still going to be in effect. It's going to last, in other words, what I mean for the week, the energy of it and the effects for setting intentions up to the 1111 portal gateway. So it's this opening of this gateway that I feel that it's already open and it's building up for that 1111 portal gateway. And this total lunar eclipse of this full moon is, you know, setting the stage for that gateway in itself, which is why I'm facilitating a circle and a group for that 1111 portal gateway. So if you want to join to prepare for these eclipse energies, join us for the circle, and all the registration and description can be found in the description area of my YouTube channel. And so that's why, you know, it's just so important that I emphasize the preparation for the eclipses, and especially this one that feels very big. And so I want to jump into the 5 things to know about this full moon, total lunar eclipse full moon. And I also want to do a mini oracle card reading from the Angel Guide oracle card. So the number one thing to know about this full moon is that there is a major shift of and releasing going on. It's like this big change, right? Because the full moon is all about releasing as well, you know, releasing things that no longer serve us. And so, you know, that's why, like, if you have crystals, for instance, a lot of people go out into the full moon energy of the light, and it serves to also clear and clean up those crystals to make them brand new and to recharge them, in other words. And so the same thing for us, because we are like this crystalline body, that the full moon energy serves its purpose to help us clear, release, to be able to recharge ourselves and to prepare ourselves, especially for the peak of this eclipse energy of, you know, this major change in our life. And so the number 2 thing to know is that we are in this big new chapter, or just say like it's a turning point in our life. You know, it's like for me, like when I share my story about my major turning point is going through that whole painful emotional, you know, thing with my whole soul shifting and everything. That was a big major turning point in my life that, you know, led into what launching my whole business. And that was, you know, very big in itself. It was a big deal for me, and also a big deal because of coming out and doing more public videos like this and speaking and on stage, you know, with a spotlight was one of the major things that I had to really release and surrender and clean up and clear in myself, because of all the energies of persecution that I had in my past lives. And so that's what, you know, this full moon energy offers, this opportunity, is that when you're releasing these major things in your life, that it also opens up this avenue for your new chapter and where your turning points are in your life. So the number 3 is, I wrote down, sound the alarms. So, you know, this whole week since I got back from my Bali trip, I've noticed that there has been a lot of sirens, and it's just like police sirens, it's the ambulance siren, it's the fire department siren. And I take all of these as signs and messages from the universe, because it would be like any road that I was on, and it would be like a road that you would never think, right, that you will see like these emergency sirens sounding all the time. And it was like constant thing, like almost every day. And then I got this download that this is, you know, the wake up. This is the major, you know, wake up call of the sirens to really step more into our authentic self and to be in that radical change for ourselves, you know, and just pretty much stepping out of our comfort zone. And so it could feel like the alarms going off, the sirens are going off, and there's, you know, this whole like alert of, you know, paying attention type thing. And so there is this also this calling of this energy from this full moon energy of this eclipse. And so that is, you know, the download that I was getting from that. So that's why I wrote down sound the alarms. So the number 4 thing to know is that our channels are opening up more. You know, and it's interesting because like in the last video that I did for the November's energy forecast, there was a card that came up about opening up to your channel. But I also feel like this full moon is also opening up more of our channel and our clarity in our life to really hear more of our own guidance and our own trust in ourselves, and just having a very clear channel of our next steps when it comes to our next new chapter in our life. And the last thing that I wrote, the number 5 thing to know about this, is that there is no turning back. So, you know, sometimes because like this Uranus and Saturn squaring of energies, I believe this is like the last one within this full moon energy, is because Saturn is all about structures, about the old ways, right? Uranus is about freedom, it's about new technology, it's about new ways, new process, new, you know, something new, right? And it wants to be in this creative and exploratory and adventurous stage. But then it goes into this conflict where, you know, Saturn wants to still stick to the old ways and is just too comfortable being in that zone, that comfort zone. And so there is this bit of conflict within, you know, that can occur inside of us as well when it comes to change, right? But what this new full moon is saying is that, wait, you know, there's this new change that's coming over the horizon. Change will come one way or another, and there's no turning back. And it's nothing to be afraid of, you know, because change is actually a good thing, and it's something that will help and expand our spiritual evolution and our spiritual growth. And you know, everything that we're doing here on this new earth frequency of energies, we all have a purpose. You have a purpose, and you know, and it's one of those purpose that supports this new earth frequency energy. And so that is, you know, what we are evolving to. The more that we're able to release all of these other, you know, sabotaging patterns or patterns that just make us feel stuck, the lighter that we become, the easier it is for us to quantum leap into that reality of our own manifestation and what it is that we wish to create in our life. And so now I want to jump into this reading. As I mentioned, this comes from the Angel Guides Oracle card, and this is by Kyle Gray. And it's such a beautiful message, actually, because this one says Mother, Father, and God. And if you look at this image here, it just looks like this very like sacred geometry, right? So what I was intuitively feeling from this is that we have our balance of the mother, cosmic mother, and the balance of the cosmic father, and which to me is like us, you know, being a part of Mother Earth, also in keeping that balance, but in that balance that we are connecting with our own source connection in our higher self, and we are trusting more of that channeling, of that channel of what we are to that source connection, that direct source connection, because we all have that ability to just connect directly to our source. So you don't have to go through a medium to get there, right? You already have all the tools inside of yourself to do that and the capability to do so. So there is, you know, a lot of trusting that, you know, it's something that we work on in ourselves, and building that confidence and that trust in ourselves, in our own guidance of who we are. So that is the message and the love wisdom that's coming through. If you like this video, please click like and share with others, and subscribe for more videos like this and more guided meditations coming your way as well. All right, and I'll be connecting with you very soon. I am sending you all so much love. Bye for now.